now, John.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Trail. I'm your host, Matt Moghaddam of Driving Line, and today we're exploring Titus Canyon in Death Valley National Park. Now, Death Valley is one of the hottest, driest places in the entire world, and it's the largest national park within the lower 48 states. And joining me today in exploring it are two members of our Nitto pit crew, Geoff Tumang and Jonathan Hume. Jonathan, have you ever been out here before?
No, this is my first time here.
So what goes through your mind when you hear the words Death Valley?
Man, I just think it's next level desert trails and really need to be prepared for what we're about to deal with today.
And Geoff, you've been on our Driving Line videos in the past with driver battles and time attack. So what made you want to build an F-150 and start exploring off-roading?
This is my 2020 Ford F150. I built it because I needed a tow rig for the race cars. It has a Eibach lift, some 35-inch Nitto Trail Grapplers, and Ray's engineering wheels.
So you got a tow rig and your play rig all in one. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I've got my 2020 Ford Ranger behind me. It's got an APG ProRunner conversion, King shocks, Baja Designs lighting, and of course, 35-inch Nitto Ridge Grapplers on there. And Jonathan, you've got a pretty amazing Raptor back there. Can you tell me a little bit about that truck?
Yeah, it's my 2019 Ford Raptor. It has a 37-inch Nitto Trail Grapplers with suspension upgrades from APG Off-Road and shocks from Fox 3.0 the live valves.
But don't be intimidated by the trucks you're seeing behind me here. You really don't need something this built to do Titus Canyon. Honestly, a two-wheel drive, high clearance vehicle can make it through here no problem. I've seen two-wheel drive Grand Cherokees make it through on a dry day without any issues. And notice how I didn't say a front-wheel drive Nissan Altima that you got at the car rental agency just outside of town, because you just need something with a little bit more ground clearance to get you over some of the obstacles we're going to come over today. And there aren't that many of them. We're going to start the trail over on the Grapevine Mountains, high up in elevation. As we come down into the valley, you're going to see a ghost town, and then we'll move into the Slot Canyon, where there's some amazing examples of the Death Valley geology you'll find all throughout this entire park. And all of that is what makes Titus Canyon one of my favorite places to take newcomers when it comes to Death Valley and just exploring the backcountry out here. So you guys as stoked as I am to do this trail today?
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Absolutely, let's go.
Let's do it. So because Death Valley is so remote, you really don't have any of the amenities that you would have in other places where you might find yourself going off-roading. A few of the things that I like to bring out here with me that are specific to this area is a really good navigation system. I like to have backups of these things, so a paper map and a digital navigation is always great to have on you. And then also, as far as safety goes, I like to carry a Spot X, which is a satellite communicator, and that will allow me to be able to text message people from anywhere that I have a satellite connection, so you don't have to actually have cell reception. And it's really good for emergencies. If something were to happen, you can actually dial an SOS button and it will send emergency services to your location, then it can find where you're at and help you out. So it's really just something to have in case things go really bad, which we don't expect to have on this trail, but still good to carry with you.
So far these roads are basically very much like a fire road, heavily washboarded though. Definitely want to take it easy as you drive over these washboards so that you don't slide out of control and maintain a good speed. The top level of dirt is pretty loose, so you can definitely lose it and go sideways if you take a turn too quickly.
So your gauge didn't show it overheating?
No, not at all.
It's quite a bit of splash up here, and I'm not sure where it's coming from though. So we're just coming up this graded road right here, really easy stuff, nothing crazy. And the rear car in our Caravan noticed that there was some fluid leaking on the ground. And overheating is definitely something that happens to vehicles in really hot weather. But Death Valley is one of those places where if you get caught with, coolant leaks or things like that, it's going to be very difficult to fix something like that out here because there's just no services, and really you can't even call a tow truck if you had to.
I mean, like 2 zip ties, cranked so it holds on the barb. Let's give that a go. So we don't have a clamp that's the correct size, but since this truck is fairly new, the rubber is pretty soft, and the fitting that the hose goes on has a barb to it. So I'm gonna do the drift kit thing and throw some zip ties on this thing, and hopefully it'll hold.
In the event that you are leaking a lot of coolant, you can use water as a substitute. Preferred is distilled water, but if you don't have it, you can use just regular drinking water. Although it's kind of a toss-up out here, you want to keep water to drink for yourself, but if you need to get somewhere, it's probably going to be best to put a little bit of that in your radiator and make sure that it's nice and cool. I've seen beer being put into a radiator. I've seen people even urinating into a radiator to keep from overheating. So desperate times call for desperate measures. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, so when something like this happens, it's really a great reminder to make sure you come out with a friend. Never want to come out on these trails by yourself. Makes you think about some of the gear that you need to bring with you to make sure you're prepared in case that something like this happens. When you lose fluids like that, you want to make sure you have somebody with you so that if they have parts, they have tools, they can run and get support or help if need be. But you want to make sure that you're always prepared out here, and extra help, all the right tools and equipment is critical out here to make sure that you're back safe.
Well, looks like we got the truck fixed. While it's not the most ideal repair, it's definitely enough to get us, down the trail and keep going here. We'll keep an eye on the coolant temperature, and if anything pops back up, looks like we'll have to pull over and try a little bit harder, but for now, looks pretty good.
All right, so we've reached the high point of our trail. We're here at Red Pass, which is about 5,200 feet in elevation. The weather is fantastic. It's about 78 degrees up here. Nice little breeze. We're right in the saddle between 2 peaks of the Grapevine Mountains, and just in front of us here, the trail starts to head downhill, down a couple of switchbacks into Titus Canyon proper. But we've mentioned this before, Titus Canyon is not really a difficult trail. There's no real technical areas to it, but you definitely want to be watching where you're going as you descend down this hill and these switchbacks here. You want to have a good eye of which way you're going, how far your tires are off to one side, and modulating your speed to make sure that you're going down in a safe manner. And to that end, these vehicles behind us are your modern vehicles, and they come with modern technology. And one of those things is a hill assist, which I actually don't have on my Ranger. But Geoff, your F-150's got hill assist control on it.
Yeah, it does. So if you have a modern vehicle with an off-road package, chances are it is equipped with something like this. Basically what it does is, as you're going down a hill, it's gonna help brake every wheel individually. So if it hits a loose piece of surface, it's gonna help you so you go wherever your wheels are pointed. Now, while this particular trail, the surface is pretty packed, it's a great opportunity for you to try out that function on your vehicle. These things are made by a very smart automotive engineer, but he's not riding with me in the truck. So, going down, I would like to test it and, familiarize myself with it so that I have a lot of comfort with it using it later on.
Yeah, and definitely don't depend on it 100% either.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So Jonathan, with your Raptor, are you just going to be kind of riding the brakes the whole way down and slowing yourself down with the brakes? You got a little bit of a heavier truck than us because you got some more stuff done to it.
Yeah, definitely not. This is one of those declines that it probably would go to 4 low. It's a great time to practice engine braking, and probably would just drop to a lower gear, put in 4 low, and keep the pressure off the brakes, especially on a hot day like this, and keep them cool so they function properly.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. I might even do the same thing, just drop it into a low gear or even low range like he was saying, 4 low, and use the engine RPM to modulate your speed going down the hill in a nice, safe manner. And we'll get down into Titus Canyon where we're gonna break for lunch down there. But before we start heading down this hill, do you guys want to check out one of my favorite views in all of Death Valley?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's right over there, so let's go check it out. Yeah. Check that out. Beautiful though. The trail takes all the way down there. You can see a little bit of it.
I was expecting to see more sketchy animals and stuff, like trying to like steal our
Really?
lunch and things like that. Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
Only got to worry about camera guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's the biggest animal out here is Nate here.
Yep.
Just gotta watch out for him. Yeah. So about 100 years ago in the 1920s, this whole area called Leadfield kind of came out of nowhere. It was a boom town, and it was started all because of a guy named C.C. Julian. But he convinced a bunch of people to part with their money and come out here to Death Valley and mine lead out of these hills. By February of 1927, this town had completely dried up. There was nobody left, nothing out here. And all because they found out this guy was just BSing his way and there was nothing to mine out of these hills. I wonder what this old building was. It's probably like a barbershop or the general store or something. Whoa, yeah, this is crazy in here.
I imagine it's not the code.
Probably not. Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy when someone makes that an Airbnb.
Yeah, there's like a house up on the hill over there too. It's got like a chimney on it and stuff.
That's the $1 million lot right there.
It is a pretty nice spot though. Like if I had to like pick a place in Death Valley to like, dig my roots in, this would probably be it. Because everywhere else is just miserable.
Yeah. Spot with a view for sure.
Yeah.
Hey Matt, I got a question for you. With all the places in this area called, Furnace Creek, Death Valley, Dante's View, what's with Titus Canyon? What's the story behind that?
So the guy that they named this canyon after, his name is Morris Titus, and he actually came out here from Telluride, Colorado, back in the early 1900s, like 1905. They were gonna go mine out in the Panamint Range, which is just probably about 50 or 60 miles from here. They were coming through this canyon and they actually made a wrong turn and they missed one of the springs, the natural springs in this area, and kept going, and all of them died of dehydration. So him and all of his pals didn't make it just because of how hot and dry Death Valley is. That's a great point to make, is why we bring so much water out here, is because there's literally none of it. And it's so easy to die out here of dehydration.
So really, if you think about it, as long as this place isn't named Matt, Geoff, or John Canyon, I think we're all doing okay.
I mean, I don't want to speak too soon because we're still on the trail here and they have opportunities to change the names of these trails.
Let's just hope for the best then.
Yeah, no more coolant leaks, all right? We're out here at the Narrows, and it's pretty incredible to think that all this area was once under a tropical sea. As beautiful as this place is, it's really, really inhospitable. I mean, there was, you heard the story of Morris Titus, who's this canyon's named after, actually coming out here and dying of thirst because they missed the last spring, which was just on a turn that they missed back there. And as crazy deadly this entire area is, Death Valley, Furnace Creek, all these looming gloom names, why do people like us come out here just for fun?
Well, I think anytime you get off the pavement and get on the dirt road, I mean, it takes you to something you never see otherwise. And I mean, if you look around this canyon, this rock formations, it's pretty amazing to think that this has existed for so many years, and this is the only way you get to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of my favorite places to come out to. And Geoff, you're kind of new to off-roading, but I'm sure you haven't been to places quite like this before. Give me a little bit about your experience today on a trail like this.
Yeah, I mean, previously, you would be able to jump on an airplane and go see an exotic location. I think with everything last year, the travel restrictions, that changed. So it really changed my mindset for traveling, where I'd jump in the truck, go do a road trip, go see the local scenery. Being a Southern California native my entire life, I've never been out to Death Valley. So just taking the opportunity and, exploring my surroundings and then expanding that a little bit further, I will definitely continue doing the off-road stuff because it has shown me a lot of cool things that I wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Yeah, man, I'm thrilled that you guys had a great time out here on the trail today. I mean, Titus Canyon is one of my favorite places to bring newcomers. It's really a great foot in the door to all the amazing backcountry trails you can find out here in Death Valley. I also want to thank Nitto and Driving Line for having us out here on the trail today, as well as you, the viewers who are at home watching this series. We get a lot of our great suggestions from you guys, so please like, comment, and subscribe below. If you guys have a great spot for us to come out and do an episode next time, leave it in the comments. Maybe we might bring this show out to your backyard. But until next time, you guys, I'll see you on the trail.